Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today with Facebook Live. My name is Nicolette Springer, and I am running for Orange County Commission District 4. I'm here with Gabe.
Hi, my name is Gabe. I'm the field coordinator for the campaign.
And today we are going to do something a little bit different than we've done in other episodes on the Facebook Live. Is we're going to we went through all of our questions. The campaign is now 9 months old, and so we went through some questions that we get frequently when we're out in the field and also at different meetings, and some of them come through Facebook and email, and we're just going to go through and try to answer as many of those questions as possible. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about something that's going on special today. So I'm a little bit more dressed down than usual because today is Star Wars Day. I'm wearing my Star Wars shirt. So are you going to go? Did you go see it last night?
I didn't watch it last night. Last
Okay.
night was the premiere, and I saw a lot of friends that were there, and the lines were ridiculous to get in. I think my friend ended up waiting, 4 hours to watch the movie.
So what's your Star Wars plan?
Well, I want to watch it with my parents or with my family
Sure.
because we all grew up watching Star Wars, especially my dad, and it's his birthday tomorrow, so kind of like a big deal for
Happy
us.
birthday, Gabe's dad. Gabe's dad is a loyal watcher, so I know he's watching right now.
So we're going to go watch it with him most likely, and it'll be a fun little family event.
Yeah, we're actually waiting a whole week, so I'm hoping no one's a jerk and spoils it for us because we're waiting for my brother to get in town. And he won't be here until next Friday. So we got to go a whole week where no one spoils anything for us. I don't know how that's... We may lose some friends.
That means you have to go a whole week without social media.
No, I think we can avoid it.
I wish you the best.
Okay.
I definitely wish you the best. People like to talk.
Yeah, I agree. Well, speaking of talking, people have lots of questions about the campaign.
That's right.
So one of the questions that we get... Well, first, you introduced yourself and you said you were field coordinator.
That's right.
What does that mean?
So as the field coordinator for the campaign, I'm responsible for making sure that we reach as many voters as possible. And I think District 4 has about 150,000 voters. Mm-hmm. So we have to convince 150,000 people, essentially, that Nicolette is the best candidate for District 4 and for your community. So my responsibility is making sure that we go to as many neighborhoods, that we talk to as many people, that we go to as many events as possible, so that people find out who she is and what she's about.
Yeah, so the 150,000, obviously, that's a big number. And so what Gabe's responsibility is, he's kind of underselling his job. What Gabe's responsibility is he has a strategic plan that he's laid out on when we go to certain neighborhoods and how many volunteers we need to get to so many doors, how many doors we can knock in an hour, all of those different kind of strategies. So Gabe is kind of the guy behind the scenes, and we have big maps where he's mapping everything out and figuring out where we go. So when we introduce an event and we say we're going to be in X neighborhood on this day, it's because Gabe has put a lot of thought and contemplation into that to make a decision about this is why. And he, we go over it with the team, but ultimately Gabe makes that pitch and we all decide collectively if that's the way we're going to go. The county itself, for those of you who are not familiar with the campaign, this is for District 4, and District 4 is the southeast part of the county, and Katie, who is a part of the team, is here in the background, and she's going to pop in some links throughout Facebook Live, and one of the links that she'll pop in is a map so that you can see where District 4 is. And District 4, like I said, is the southeast part of the county, and it's divided up into voting precincts. And we have 40 voting precincts in our district. And what that means is that's the precincts each represent a poll, so where you go to vote. So, for example, I vote at a local high school, and that's one precinct that votes at that high school. But a neighbor down the street who maybe only lives a couple neighborhoods away, they may vote at a different school, or they may vote at a library. So everyone's different. So that's how it's divided up. But which leads us into one of the questions that we get often, which is, what do we talk about when we go door to door?
That's right.
And we talk about, really, it's all about you. It's not about me. I will introduce myself and tell you a little bit about my background and why I'm running for the commission. But at the end of the day, I'm not there to stand at your door and give you a speech. I'm there to talk to you about what's important to you in the community and how myself as a potential elected official can best represent you and your needs and your family's needs and your neighbors' needs. So we're going to be knocking door to door and asking you all for your vote and asking you also what you would like to see Orange County do in the future and how I can best represent you in that vision. One of the other things that we're going to ask is what?
The petitions.
The petitions, yes. So tell them about the petitions.
So in order for us to qualify to be on the ballot, we have to either pay the supervisor of elections or we go door to door and we ask people to show their support for Nicolette by signing a petition that states that Nicolette should be a candidate for Orange County's District 4. So we go door to door, and we ask you to just sign our petition to have Nicolette be an official candidate.
Correct. And the information on the petition is the same information that you put down on your voter registration, which is a question that we get often, which is where and when do I vote? Mm-hmm. And where you vote is based on your voter registration. And those of you who have not registered to vote, you can now register to vote online. It's a new law for the state of Florida. It was enacted in October. And it used to be that when you registered to vote, you had to go to the DMV, or there were a few other local county offices where you can go and register to vote. Most of us are familiar with it. When we renew or get a driver's license, they'll ask you if you want to register to vote. But now you can do that online. So that's super convenient. If you're not registered to vote, we encourage everyone to register to vote. And to give you a perspective, we don't have 100% registration in the county. So when I said we had 150,000 voters in District 4, that doesn't mean that that's how many people are in District 4. That's just how many registered voters we have. So we still have more voter outreach to get people to register. Mm-hmm. If you are registered to vote, we would encourage you to go to your local supervisor of election website, which Katie's going to pop in on the back end there, so you'll see it in the comments, and look and see where you vote. It will tell you what your congressional district is, so who you get to vote for, and it will also tell you where your voting site is, so that you know on election day where you need to go.
Okay.
Yep. So other things that people have asked us, and I'm just going to, for those of you who are just joining us, I'm Nicolette Springer, and I'm running for Orange County Commission. Thank you for joining us on Facebook Live. You can find all information about our campaign on my website, which is nicolettespringer.com, where you can find us on Instagram. We're also on Twitter, and of course we're on Facebook. And of course we're on Facebook as well. And we're going through some questions from people that we've met out in the community, that we have met on Facebook, on Instagram, different ways that we've encountered some of the potential voters and just residents of Orange County. And some of the questions that we get, I would say the most frequent one is people ask me, how's it going and how can I help? Let me know what I can do.
Right.
And so what would you say that we need help with? What do you think?
So just from the field perspective, which is what I do, the biggest hurdle that we as a campaign need to jump across is getting volunteers, because not having to talk to 150,000 people in the span of a couple months and convincing them is a little hard to do, obviously, just between ourselves. So if you're out in the community, in your neighborhood, and you would like to help us canvass, and you'd like to volunteer with us, there are links on our website that allow you to join us when we're out canvassing and when we're out in the. And
Katie will pop in that site. So there's a link on our website. There's a page on our website where you can sign up to volunteer. And volunteering is a variety of things. Like, we need help with a lot of things, and it's not just us. Yeah. All local campaigns do this. So we need people to help us canvass, which is to go door to door. And if knocking on neighbors' doors doesn't seem that appealing to you, then there's lots of other options. We also will be calling a lot of people, so we'll be doing phone banking. And this is a great option for someone who maybe has a different schedule and can't come out on a weekend, or your work schedule is in such a way that it's just difficult to get out to an event, or maybe if you even live out of state or out of county, but you're a supporter and you want to help, we can do a virtual phone bank where we send you a phone list, and then you can call off of that, and just you're calling and reminding people to get out to vote, or telling them about my campaign, reminding them about when the dates are and all that kind of stuff. So vote by mail, or you can remind them about vote by mail, about early voting. And so volunteering is a variety of things. We also need people to just help host. So when we go out and canvass, we're in different parts of the community. And so when we're in my neighborhood, we would be using my home as the base. But when we're in other neighborhoods, we need other volunteers to you be a host. So we have lots of friends in different communities who have said, please come and use our home. You could use it as the base for canvass. And basically what that means is that they would provide us with a space where all of our volunteers can meet. It's our meetup spot. And we would be able to give you the materials that you need, and then we kind of disperse from that location. And we'll be doing that all over District 4, because District 4 is geographically the largest district in the county. We run all the way from about half of Hunters Creek, so anything east of John Young, and we go all the way out to Avalon Park and through Lake Nona and Waterford Lakes. Anything south of 50 and pretty much south of the airport. So it's geographically really large. So any help that you can provide is always appreciated, and it's what we need as a campaign, because this is a grassroots campaign. We're running most of our campaign office is my living room. And so we do all the work here, and we have a great group of volunteers right now, but we always need more volunteers to help. So that's, if people want to know how they can help, that's the best way. It's just sign up on the website, which is NicoletteSpringer.com, and Katie's going to pop in the link for volunteering again. And that way you can sign up and we know what you want to do. And there's a list of things that you can ask to help with, or you can volunteer to help with.
Yeah. Any little bit that you can do is a huge help for us as a campaign and for us as a team. So in any way, shape, or form, we'd love to help. We'd love to have you help us out.
So another question that I often get is, when is the election?
Yeah, and then it seems like a silly question, but it's a question that's important to us, obviously, because we'd like you to vote on that day, but also because a lot of people just don't know. They don't.
Correct. So there's 2 election days. There is going to be the initial election day is August the 28th, and then the second election day will be November the 6th. And this is both for 2018. And so the August the 28th date is the one where we're going to need the most rallying from you guys, because nobody remembers to vote in August. I think most of us kind of have this very social concept of like, oh, it's November, we're going to vote, because that's traditionally the voting time for our country for all kinds of elections. But the August one is one where we're really heavily going to have to remind people to make sure that they get out and vote. And what's great about our county and our state in general is we have a variety of ways to vote. So you can vote early, which is, I'm sure most of you have utilized this. I know I have, where you don't have to wait until election day. You don't have to wait until August the 28th. You can vote several weeks beforehand, and those dates about when and where you can vote will be distributed as it gets closer to the 28th of August. But you can go, most of those are at libraries. Some of them are at public schools, but I voted at the library early last time. Did you vote early, or did you vote on the day?
I think I ended up voting on the day, but my early vote area was the same thing as the same day that I voted.
Oh, okay.
And that was at a church nearby.
Okay, yeah. Some locations are a church. So the different voting areas. The other way, and we think it's the best way, is to vote by mail.
Yep.
Because vote by mail is super convenient. The ballot arrives in your mailbox. You send that into the supervisor of elections, and you can track it like it's a FedEx package. So once it mails out, you know where it is, you know when it arrives. You can call the supervisor of elections and get an update if it was received or not. It is the best way to make sure that you can cast your vote, because you just never know. Something can happen.
Sure, yeah.
You can be sick. Your kid could be sick. Things happen. You get a work deadline, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to make it to the polls in time. Vote by mail is the best way to assure that your vote is counted. So we highly recommend vote by mail, and that's another thing that we will be doing when we go door to door, is that we will have paperwork that if you would like to register to vote by mail, you can do that, and we can handle that paperwork for you, or you can do that online, and we can tell you the website for the supervisor of elections to vote by mail. Katie will drop the link in, and that is super easy. You just go online and sign up, and the ballot arrives in your mailbox. Could not be easier.
It's really easy. It makes no sense why you wouldn't want to do that. So, and the petition.
It's particularly for in August, because I really think it's hard for people to remember in August, because it's just not something that's on our radar, and everyone's in that back to school mode. No one's in hey, it's election time mode.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's something that you like. It's kind of like a little present for yourself. Like, you open the mailbox, you're like, oh, hey, there's my ballot. Like, let me see what's going on.
Yeah, it's nicer than a bill. It's not a bill in the mail.
It's nicer than a bill. So
yes.
There you go.
And it's a pretty big envelope, so it will stand out in your mailbox. It's not just standard size envelope. The other thing, when you vote by mail, it lasts for 2 cycles. So for 2 cycles leading up to the election, so you will not only be registering to vote by mail for August, but that will automatically set you up for the November election, and then for 2 cycles thereafter. And on the ballot this year, it's not just county commission and school board will be on the ballot this year, for at least for my district, school board is, which is school board district 2. And then also we'll have the governor's races on there. The Senate race will be on there. These are going to be some big races that come in, and you'll have to vote in August for those guys too, because there will be primaries. So it is important to make sure that you are registered to vote by mail, because that is the best way to assure that your vote gets in. If you've changed your address, or you've gotten married, or you've changed your political affiliation and you want to change your party, you could also do that online. So it's not just for new registered voters, it's also for anybody who has a change.
Yeah.
So if you have a change in your life, whether it was your date of, not your date of birth should not change. Don't change your date of birth.
No,
I was going to say if you got married, but if you've gotten married and your name has changed,
right,
and that is reflective, then yes, you should definitely make sure that gets updated. Or if your address has changed,
you moved into a new apartment.
Correct, party affiliation. Sure. And then I will also say, so Gabe is at the University of Central Florida here in Orlando. I'm an alumni from UCF, so go Knights. What would you recommend for your fellow students? Because a lot of your students are not, they're registered at their parents' house.
Sure.
So what would you recommend? Should they change it, or do you think they should just do vote by mail here but keep it there? Like, what do you think what do you do?
So when I started school, I had just turned 18, and it was 2015, so there wasn't a huge election for me to have registered to vote. But when I had already registered at in my hometown. And when the 2016 election was going on, there were people who were changing people's registrations. I changed my registration even though I knew I wasn't going to stay. I was living on campus, so I was only going to stay there for another, a couple months before I had to move out again. At the time, it seemed a little cumbersome because I had to go fill out a paper form, turn it in, get a new voter registration card, and it seemed like a lot of work. But I mean, then again, I'm a political junkie. It didn't bother me. But for somebody who's busy doing other stuff, who has projects or finals to worry about,
easy online.
Exactly. So the online option. I just recently changed my registration again, but I did it online. It took me 15 minutes, and most of it was waiting for my computer to load. So, it's
time for a new computer. Yeah.
Oh gosh. So that's just something. If you're at UCF, if you're thinking should I really register to vote? Does my vote really count? Should I even take the time? 5 minutes on your computer. You're going to spend more time looking for the link on Google than you are going to be.
They don't have to look for the link because Kate is popping it in on FaceTime.
That's right.
So we just saved you a lot of time.
If you're watching us right now, the link is there. You have no excuse.
Yeah. So voting by mail and getting yourself registered, or your updated registration, is key to making sure that you have the ability to go out and vote and exercise your democracy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we do that as a family. Did you do that as a family? I always take our kids to the polls, and we get the sticker, we take a picture by the thing. We're kind of nerdy. But.
Sure. Well, actually, my parents are actually registered to vote. I remember that from the 2012 election that they had their votes. They had casted it in. And, we're only recently now turning 18.
Yeah,
so there's more people now
to go out.
Go out. So maybe it'll be a fun thing for us as a family to do.
That would be fun. Yeah. So speaking of family traditions, we're coming upon the holidays, and you guys can see some of the decor back here. So our house is decked out. The tree's behind the camera here, out of shot, but you all can't see that. But what are some of your family traditions that maybe you did as a kid? Do you still do them now? Do you keep it going, or do you feel like you just let that happen at your parents' house?
No. So I'm Puerto Rican, so there's a Christmas, and the Christmas season there is very important. Religiously for one reasons, but then for just the festivities, for just family time, for other reasons. So one thing that is huge in Puerto Rico and that we try to emulate here in Florida is barandas. So that's when you get all of your neighbors together and everyone gets together, plays the same traditional Christmas music. Not U.S. Christmas music like Frank Sinatra or anything, which is good. No offense to Frank, but there's Puerto Rican traditional Christmas music, and everyone just eats the same traditional food, and we do the dances. It's a whole lot of fun. It goes on until
Do you do it on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve?
The barandas happen for weeks before Christmas and then weeks after Christmas. It's just a huge party for a good month.
Okay, so I'm Italian, and so we celebrate Christmas Eve and not Christmas. We do celebrate Christmas Day, of course.
Yeah.
But Christmas Eve is our big day, and we do what's called
my house too.
We do the Feast of Seven Fishes.
Okay.
So we only eat seafood on that day, and there's no meat. And there's a variety of reasons why. Who knows? Whoever's Nona, you ask, we'll have a different reason why we do the 7 fishes. I'm not 100% sure that there's a straight or right answer. Some people do 13, which is insane because we struggle to do 7. But it's supposed to be, some people say it's for the 7 days of the week. Some people say it's for the 7 wonders of the world. 13 is a lucky number in Italian, so that's why some people say 13 fishes. But we do a whole seafood spread. My mom is in charge of doing that. And so we spend Christmas Eve with my parents doing the seafood day. And then on Christmas Day, we do the traditional American-style Christmas. But that's kind of our big 7 fish on Saturday. It's not Saturday this year, but on Christmas Eve. Yeah,
that's interesting. I'm only now getting acclimated to like fish. It's something that I'm trying to like teach myself to like more. So I don't know if I would be an active participant.
I know it's hard because one of my sister-in-laws is allergic to shrimp. She's allergic to shellfish.
Okay.
So
there goes like a whole list of things.
It's a whole list. It's pretty much like, let's try not to kill Chelsea today.
Okay.
Because we have to be very careful to not poison her.
That's a good goal to have.
One year, this is 5 years ago actually, my mom broke her toe. Okay. And it was today. Today's the my mom. I know this because my mom informed me. Do you know today's the 5-year anniversary from when I broke my toe? I don't know why she remembers that. Sure. Okay. So she calls me from the hospital emergency room. I get this call, and she says, I said, are you okay? And everything. And she said, yeah, I'm fine, but I'm just really worried. Like, I'm not going to be able to stand in the kitchen. Who is going to make Christmas Eve dinner? This was her biggest concern. Like, she needs to have surgery. This was a major break. Like, they had to put pins in her toe, the whole thing. And her biggest concern as she's in the emergency room is who is going to cook Christmas Eve dinner.
Wow.
So I said to her, I said, don't worry about it. Anthony and I, that's my brother, I'm like, Anthony and I will take care of it. And she's like, no, seriously, who's going to make Christmas? Like, she did not believe us. We handled it very well, mind you. I thought we did a good job. But my mom was questioning our abilities to deliver on the tradition.
That's hilarious.
So it's really funny. But so let's get back to some. What about here in Orlando? So are you going home for Christmas?
Yes, I am.
I'll be in Orlando, and I think that there's so much fun traditional stuff here in the Orlando area for the holidays. Light Up UCF does a great job, and they have the ice skating rink, and then they have a few little carnival-ish rides.
Yeah, they got the Ferris wheel and some other rides. I went last year. I haven't been able to go this year, but it's a lot of fun. We
have some really great neighbors in District 4 and throughout Orange County who do an amazing light show at their home. And I remember that as a kid. Like, did you drive around with your parents
and be like,
yeah, I love it. Yeah. I want to drive around. And we put the kids in the car in their pajamas and we're like, let's drive around and look at lights. Katie and I are going to try to plug in some. We don't have it right now for Facebook, but we'll plug them in on Instagram. So make sure you follow us on Instagram. So we're going to highlight some neighbors who we think do an outstanding job of their lights. So be sure to keep an eye on our Instagram. And it's Nicolette for Orange County is the handle for Instagram. And Katie will pop in that link in the Facebook so you can follow us on Instagram. But make sure you look at that so you can kind of follow the neighbors and see throughout the district. And I kind of like the ones that are a bit over the top and very nostalgic, like Griswold style. Like the ones that are really too perfect are not the ones I like. I like the ones that are like, I threw everything on the front lawn and then I just lit that baby up.
I don't have a preference for one or the other. I just think if you took the time to go outside and string lights on your house to make it look festive, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And there's a whole, in my hometown, there's this whole like community that is specifically known for their Christmas lights. Like, I guess it's part of like the homeowners association or something. Like once you move in, you have to commit
here's your list of things you must do.
Yeah, there's like a whole like list of things that you need to accomplish before Christmas. So it's always like, it's a tradition to go out.
I think that's fun. That just makes it so festive, and I think it's great to see all that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we talked with some of the other questions. We're obviously, Gabe and I are chatting away here, having a great time on Facebook. So we didn't get to all of our questions, so let me just see some of the other questions we talked. Something about the election. If you want to get reminders about the election and everything else that's going on in the campaign, visit our website. It's nicolettespringer.com, and make sure that you sign up for our newsletter. That gives us the opportunity for us to be able to communicate with you in a way that we promise we won't spam you every day with email, but we will remind you about making sure you register to vote. We will remind you about where we're going to be in the community, because we would love to see you out. We'll be at a lot of community events in January. And we'll have tables out. We'd love to talk to you. But more importantly, we're going to be going door to door starting at the beginning of 2018. at the beginning of 2018, and we want to meet our neighbors. And I want to hear from all of you about what you envision Orange County doing in the future, because that's what this campaign is about. That is why I'm running for office. I am not running for office for me. I'm running for office for our community, to serve my neighbors and to serve our community, and to make sure that all of us live in a community where we could all prosper and be safe and be healthy and happy. And so those are things that I want to talk about when I come to your door. If I knock on your door and ask for your vote, before I ask for your vote, the first question I'm going to ask is, where do you see Orange County going? What can we do to make your life better here in the community? As an elected official, my job is going to be to serve you, and I want to make sure that your voice is heard on the commission. So for me, I'm really looking forward to 2018 and getting out into the community and talking to everyone. And we've been doing that now in 2017, but we're really going to be kicking it up in 2018. There will be a lot of door knocking. So look out for Gabe and I and many other volunteers and the team, and John will be out and the girls will be out knocking on doors. The girls love to hand out literature. That's their favorite. It's like reverse trick-or-treating. They're leaving
reverse trick-or-treating? There you go.
They're leaving things for people. They love that. 2018 is only a couple weeks away. That's right. And I think that one of the things that we as a community, and I think everyone does this, they always say, well, what do you want to accomplish for 2018? Like, what's your main goal? And I think for us as a whole in the community, I think it's that we want to be able to have an environment and a community that we know that everyone is fighting for the same thing, and fighting for us to have safety in our communities, to make sure that our kids' schools are in a position to serve them well, to make sure that our community is protecting the environment and making sure that we're protecting our waterways, and making sure that our roads, our infrastructure is up to par, so that we can get to work on a regular basis. Because at the end of the day, all of us are going to a job, we're all going to work, but it's because we want to be at home with our families. And we're going there to get that paycheck so we can come home and spend time with our families. And if we can get 5 or 10 minutes off of that drive, off of that traffic, because we make sure that our infrastructure is in a better situation than it is now, then that's 5 or 10 more minutes you get to spend with your family. And that, to me, is important. And so those little things, cumulatively over time, make a big difference. So we are fairly close to wrapping this up. Any other things that we need to touch on? We talked about Star Wars already, so we already know that plan. We talked about so 2 things you should take away from this. 1, you should have a Star Wars plan. When are you going to see it? Who are you going to go with? And can someone not spoil it for me for a whole week? I feel like I'm setting myself up for this, because now all of these people are know. And they're just going to start texting me. And say, hey, blah, 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 so-and-so's dead. Like, I know it's going to happen.
Another thing that I think we need to talk about before we go. These are holiday Christmas coffee cups, and this is only 2. This is a little set here. And this is only 2 of like the 20 of these that she has.
That's untrue.
Nope, it's about 20. It's definitely 20.
Well, I will say that on that note, in our beautiful Christmas cup, I like to go all out for the holidays. Are you enjoying your coffee out of your holiday mug?
I can't say I'm not.
Okay, well then there you go.
Okay.
Then no complaints.
Very well then. I just want everybody to know that this is what's going on. It's a Christmas, it's a holiday special today.
It is a holiday special out of our holiday Christmas mugs. And this is a tradition in my house. My parents have a whole set of these, and when we got married, they passed along a set of these. So we do have a set of these and all the matching dishes. And I just love it. I change it out, and these guys like to make fun of me for being a little bit too on par with my Christmas. But hey, it's only once a year.
You're right.
Thank you guys for joining us today. We're going to close this out on that wonderful holiday cup. We're going to enjoy our coffee out of our Christmas mug.
We will, and
because it's beautiful. It's pretty.
It is pretty.
Thank you guys for joining us. Please make sure you visit the website. It's nicolettespringer.com. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. Thank you guys. Have a safe and healthy and joyous holiday. And we look forward to being out in the community with you guys in 2018. Thank you and have a great day.
Yep. See you in January.
See you in January.